The past is no longer a mystery. The past is no longer a mystery. The past is no longer a mystery.
Theatre through time. Greek.
Years ago in Athens, Greece, the story of theatre began. Aeschylus' Persians was the earliest play to exist, and the difference between tragedy, comedy, and satire was identified. Women were not allowed to act, so female characters were originally played by men.
Roman.
Theatre was first experienced by the Romans in the 4th century. In 509 BC, the Roman Republic expanded and Rome encountered Greek drama. Theatres in this time were designed for stage plays, and amphitheatres were built for greater spectacles. They were designed in the shape of a half circle.
Middle Ages.
In the 10th century, Hrotsvit, the first female playwright, came into existence. This time was known for liturgical drama which flourished in the 12th and 13th centuries. The theatre died due to a change in interests among popular culture, a change in patronage to the theatre, and the establishment of playhouses.
Medieval times.
The 12th century saw crusades bring other cultures to Europe, and in the 16th century, the Church no longer supported certain types of plays because of their dubious religious value. Fixed staging meant that mansions were put up in clear space, and heaven and hell were at opposite ends of the stage. Movable staging had pageant wagons, which moved through the streets while the audience stayed in the same place.
No theatre.
This style was popularised by Zimi. The performers were simply storytellers who used their visual appearance and their movements to suggest the essence of their tale. Over time, it became a ceremonial drama performed on auspicious occasions by professional actors for the warrior class.
Italian stage and scenery.
Filippo Brunelleschi invented the principles of linear perspective in drawing and painting, and Leon Battista Alberti perfected the architectural language of the Renaissance. In 1485, Italian rulers began to finance productions of Roman plays and imitations of them.
The Renaissance.
Shakespeare and Marlowe were born in 1564, and Dekker and Jonson followed in 1572. The Curtain Theatre was built in 1576, and later Francis Drake completed his circumnavigation of the globe. In 1593, all the theatres shut due to the plague. However, they reopened in 1594. The globe was built in 1599 but burned down in 1613. 1642 was when the English Civil War commenced, and the Puritan Parliament banned the theatre and closed the playhouse.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was baptised in 1564. By 1597, 15 of the 37 plays written by him had been published. The playwright Robert Greene claimed that he was an upstart crow. In 2006, a copy of 36 of his plays, including 18 never printed, sold for £2.6 million. He became an important emblem of national pride in the 19th century, and in 1961, the Royal Shakespeare Company, the RSC, was formed.
Marlowe.
Christopher Marlowe was born in 1564 and he achieved his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1584. His first play was Dido, Queen of Carthage. When he wrote Tamburlaine, Parts 1 and 2, it caused great excitement. Its heroicness, along with the splendour of the blank verse, led to its constant revival. He was an atheist, so was arrested as it was a serious offence for which the penalty was burning at the stake.
Johnson.
Ben Jonson was born in 1572. He was an actor for the Admiral's Men in 1597, and in 1616 he was crowned England's first poet laureate. He was called before the Privy Council on charges of property and treason. Due to his tragedy, Sejanus' Fall, offering an astute view on dictatorship.
London's theatres.
James Burbridge constructed a permanent playhouse in 1576. It's possible that without Elizabeth I's support, Shakespeare's works wouldn't have survived to this day. Between 1592 and 1594, the plague caused all theatres in London to close. However, in 1642, all theatres were closed again for a further 18 years, as the Puritans thought that the theatre attracted an indecent crowd. Between 1717 and 1779, David Garrick revolutionised acting by playing his characters in a more realistic way. Following this, the Garrick Theatre opened in 1889. 1929 created a lack of money for theatrical productions due to the Great Depression.
Corneille and Racine.
Pierre Corneille was born in France, and his first play Meliti was performed in Paris in 1629. He attended the Académie Française in 1647, having been rejected previously due to not living in the capital. Jean Racine was born in 1639, and in 1670, both him and Corneille were asked to write a play on the subject of Berenice. His first play to be successful was La Thébaïde, and he was the first French author to live solely on the income provided by his work.
Molière.
Molière was born in Paris in the year 1622. In 1658 he performed before King Louis XIV with his acting company Illusion Theatre. He had the role of leading French comic actor, stage director and drama theoretician of the 17th century. He collapsed and died after the fourth performance of his play, The Imaginary Invalid. The French National Theatre formed 7 years later.
Commedia dell'arte.
This term refers to comedy of the trade, and it roughly began in 1555 when a carnival song was published. Most scholars agree this to be the first piece of evidence of commedia dell'arte. Up until the 18th century, the term commedia dell'arte wasn't used.
Kabuki.
A female shrine attendant named Okuni created this art form in the 17th century. Until 1868, onagata, the actors who played female roles, had to maintain their feminine personas in their private lives. This style was appreciated in its time, however, is no longer of much interest to younger Japanese people.
Beaumarchais.
Pierre-Augustin Caron de Beaumarchais was born in Paris in 1732. He wrote 2 outstanding comedies in his time, The Barber of Seville and The Marriage of Figaro. In 1783 he was accused of keeping arms and corn in his house, yet when his house was searched nothing was found. He had printed thousands of copies of the works of Voltaire, and these were discovered.
Schiller.
Friedrich Schiller was born in 1759. His first major drama in iambic pentameter was Don Carlos. The first performance of his play, Die Räuber, was a milestone in the history of German theatre